Ladies and gentlemen, share this segment with anyone you know who thinks that because certain Republicans are against Trump and they oppose Trump, that means he's not going to win re-election. These Republicans, these NeverTrump, Bush-era Republicans, which is what they are, or just the Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, good Republicans who put their family pets, their dogs, on top of their car like Mitt Romney did for a 15 to 20 hour trek across the country. Who does that? Mitt Romney does that. Anyway, this phenomenon of primarily Bush-era Republicans. So the Lincoln Project is an organization that is run by Republican, I guess you could say, foreign policy analysts, former Republican officials, Republican Party officials, I think some politicians. But you look at not just that organization, you look at any NeverTrump Republican, and they're going to help reelect the president. This is a CBS Market Watch article, Trump's toughest opponent, Republicans who want him out in November. He has, number one, President Trump has a it's either an 85 to 95% approval rating. Even if it's 85 on the lower end, it's not. It's almost certainly around 90%. You have a very, very loyal Republican Party to President Trump. Okay, very loyal. The 10% or 5% of NeverTrump Republicans cannot defeat Democrats in any. They will never be able to defeat a Democrat in a presidential election. You look at Mitt Romney, you look at John McCain, that era of Republican politics is over. Nobody cares about the perfectly coiffed good Republicans who like counterinsurgency conflicts that last forever. President Trump just signed a deal with an organization I can't name, but we've been negotiating with them for a long time to end America's longest-running military conflict. In late February, early March, the administration signed a peace deal to literally end our involvement, to bring home Americans from the longest-running military conflict that Bush started and that President Obama kept us in. This is a reversal of U.S. foreign policy, of the interventionist foreign policy that both Democrats and Republicans champion. All the Bush-era neoconservatives, whether it's Bill Kristol or Max Boot, or a whole bunch of them, raised money for Hillary Clinton, will vote for Hillary Clinton again because she's going to be nominee. By the way, share my Times of Israel article, Hillary Clinton 2020, that's my Huffington Post. My Times of Israel article below, Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. And share my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality, get ready for 8 years of Trump. Please subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Let's get that to 20,000 subs. It's doing very well. I have a great segment up on there. And if you want to support my voice long term, ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment and the description. Your support is greatly appreciated, especially going into the home stretch. President Trump's going to be reelected. One of the biggest reasons is the NeverTrump Republicans are maybe they're delusional or trying to deceive the left into thinking that there are more of them than that there are more NeverTrump Republicans than actually exist. The issue is the following: there are a lot of things that the Bush era type of Republican Party agrees with the Democratic Party on. Number one, the never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, the interventionist foreign policy, whether it's the President Obama and Clinton and Biden's smart power, or whether it's just the Bush era, topple a leader and then bring Americans to patrol cities and stay there forever. Half to 2/3 of all the lives lost in Iraq and Afghanistan were the victims of IED blasts. Okay, this is the legacy of the Bush administration and President Obama's administration. When you look at President Obama, he toppled a dictator in Libya, and look at what's taking place in Libya. He helped destroy that country. It is now divided into 3 parts with 2 factions that haven't stopped. Two factions, and then there's basically no man's land in a third of the country. But there are 2 military leaders, or 2 political sides battling one another, and they've been doing so for years and years and years, and there's nothing but chaos and mayhem in that country because of President Obama's foreign policy, the failed NATO intervention. We had that failed NATO intervention that destabilized the region, and then, of course, you had President Bush's failed foreign policy that paved the way for President Obama's failed foreign policy. The issue is that the reason President Trump is president is because of the John McCains and Mitt Romneys of the world. Not in spite or despite the best intentions of the Republican Party, somehow President Trump became president. No, he's president because Republicans were inept, and the Republican Party was a militant, careless political party for a long time. Now, I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Trump supporter. I want Americans home from never-ending conflict. To the left, they think, they don't realize that still exists. They think, well, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal. It's real. Life revolves around what you say on Twitter or Facebook. President Trump isn't like that. He's politically incorrect at all times, but he signs the First Step Act. Democrats are politically correct, but they preside over mass incarceration. And you had George Floyd being murdered in Minneapolis, just like Eric Garner was murdered in New York City. These are Democratic machines. The media sweeps that inconvenient fact under the rug. They don't care. Media will never publicize what Biden, the "you ain't" comment, that literally is the most horrible, absurd, arrogant, bigoted, prejudicial comment. Media doesn't want anything to do with it because they're propping up Biden. Until Hillary Clinton becomes the nominee, I will have made the biggest political call of all time, and then the NeverTrump Republicans, and then the Lincoln Project, and then they'll say, vote for Hillary because, number 2, the second thing is they're, very opposed to Russia because the Cold War has not ended. Now, President Obama told Mitt Romney the 80s want their foreign policy back, and Russia is not our enemy. That's when President Obama wanted to get reelected. Then, of course, Russian Facebook ads swung the election, and we've spent 3 years talking about how Russia interfered in the election. This is also an older Republican platform. So you have the Bush-era foreign policy, then you have a hawkish foreign policy towards Russia, because we had the establishment mentality, both left and right, when it comes to foreign policies. There always has to be a terrible threat that we have to protect ourselves from. So, but again, this is all lost in translation when Democrats see Republicans that don't like Trump. Because all they see, when they see Republicans that don't like Trump, they say, oh my God, these are good people from a different opposing side. Oh my God, there's still hope for humanity. Oh my goodness, President Trump's on the ropes. Even his own side doesn't like him. He's going to be reelected. President Trump's going to be reelected. And first of all, it ain't going to be Biden, but let's say it's not going to be Biden. But if it was Biden, it won't be. But if it was, they wouldn't even get the popular vote. They would not even get the popular vote. Do you understand? Biden is horrendous in every way. I could spend an hour talking about it. I'm sure you can as well. They're going to go with Hillary Clinton. I will have made the biggest political call of all time, ladies and gentlemen. I am the only person on the planet who has told you from 2017 in my Huffington Post article and every day since that Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee. It's a political machine. Well, I don't know how it's going to happen, but the closer they get to the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which is when their convention is going to be on, August 18th is the centennial of the 19th Amendment's ratification. They're not going with Biden. But the issue with the NeverTrump Republicans is the following. Trump has 2 Supreme Court nominees, hundreds of federal judges, tax cuts that did spur economic growth. Okay, the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas came out with an article talking about how the tax cuts did increase gross domestic product. We had record low unemployment. President Trump is seen as a president that is far better on the economy than anyone else. In those polls where they say Biden's up 14, they added the pandemic response and the response to protests. Well, no one's going to vote on that in November. And those aren't really questions that are usually asked during polls. So, you have a situation where the polls are public relations stunts and ploys. They're not really reflecting interest or enthusiasm or who is going to win the election. President Trump's going to win the election because of people who are never Trump Bush-era Republicans like the Lincoln Project. President Trump exists because of the never Trump Republicans. This is what they don't get. The militancy, the hypocrisy, the failed leadership of never Trump Bush-era Republicans is why President Trump exists. They don't understand that. Okay, the Mitt Romneys of the world they are exactly the reason that President Trump is president and that he's doing a great job. The issues important to Trump's supporters, like bringing home Americans, like a great economy, like a trade imbalance with China that President Trump addresses with tariffs that they would all rather address with the Trans-Pacific Partnership or other ways. This is the reason President Trump exists. So they are actually helping reelect President Trump. They're one of the big reasons President Trump's going to be reelected. The Republican Party does not have... Once they set their sights, once the left sets their sights on their moment, like on the people that they've aligned with, who are the Bush era, more traditional Republicans, they'll go back to find the tweets and the quotes and the articles written about them and the policies that hurt voters, and they're just saying, "Oh, look at these good Republicans, we love them," just to undermine Trump. This momentary alliance is based on hypocrisy and disingenuous, duplicitous relationship. Okay, the Republicans, the Mitt Romney types, and the Jeff Flakes and the John McCain type Republicans and the Paul Ryan type Republicans, they know they don't have media. They know they don't have the media. They know they have zero influence in the media. They have zero ability to, they have no influence on social media, and the only influence on social media they have is to get retweeted by Democrats who can't stand Trump. So they don't realize that they'll never be able to win another election without President Trump's platform of tariffs against China, withdrawing Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, not necessarily tariffs against China, but addressing the $400 billion trade deficit, doing something to actually address it and not just simply talking about it. We had record low unemployment with President Trump, so nobody's blaming the current economic crisis on Trump. And we know which side, we know media, we know the Democrats. They're like, oh, we can't open up the economy. And they're saying the NeverTrump Republicans are doing the same thing. Why? Because there's a little bit or a lot. A big reason is because they don't want the economy to flourish again, because then that helps President Trump. if it was only about saving lives, they would have postponed Arizona, Illinois, and Florida primaries during the pandemic and the Wisconsin primaries. They would never have done that, though, because voting in their primaries, which, by the way, the Democratic primary, DNC lawyers stated when they were cheating Bernie Sanders that they didn't even have to have a primary. They could have chosen people in they're the nominee in smoke-filled back rooms. That's a DNC lawyer actually stated that. So there's so much going on, but one of the most hilarious elements of this election, or one of the most hilarious phenomenons, is the NeverTrump Bush-era Republicans who think that the left loves them. The left despises them. But they're just, I used to be on the left. I know the way they think. They're just using the Bush-era NeverTrump Republicans to try to create this image that, well, Trump isn't even liked by his own party. Nothing could be further from the truth. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support my voice long-term, going into the home stretch in November 3rd, we're going to win. President Trump is going to win. And James Comey, Strzok, McCain, Clapper, Brennan, Hollywood, the Democratic Party, media, they're not going to win. They're going to lose to Trump again. And when they do, November 3rd will be euphoric. November 4th will be absolutely fantastic, because then they're going to have to realize that 4 years of setting up and framing President Trump with the NeverTrump Republicans' help, they were complicit in everything. John McCain and the Steele dossier. John McCain had a lot to do with spreading the Steele dossier. But anyway, give me your thoughts below. Ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. And Paul Ryan and the Republicans in the House, or Richard Burr, Mr. Insider Trading, possibly, he had a lot to do with furthering the nonsense as well. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you very much. NeverTrump Republicans are going to reelect the president, which is going to be hilarious. Give me your thoughts.